नमः पार्वती पतये हर 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 महादेव। नमोऽस्त्वनन्ताय सहस्रमूर्तये सहस्रपादाय शिशिरोरुबावे सहस्रनाम्ने पुरुषाय शाश्वते सहस्रकोटि युगधारिणे नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय गुरवे सच्चिदानन्दमूर्तये निष्प्रपञ्चाय शान्ताय निरालम्बाय तेजसे नित्यानन्दाय गुरवे शिष्यसंसारहरिणे भक्तकार्येकदेहाय नमस्ते चित्सदात्मने। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ नमो गुरुभ्यो गुरुपादुकाभ्यो नमः परेभ्यः परपादुकाभ्यः आचार्यसिद्धेश्वरपादुकाभ्यो नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यः। रहस्ययुक्त महाविभूत्या ओंकारमर्म प्रतिपादिनीभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां। होत्राग्निहोत्राग्निहविष्यहोत्रे होमादि सर्वा पृथिवा समानम् ब्रह्म तद्वो धवितारिणीभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां। कामादिसर्प व्रजगारुणाभ्यां विवेकवैराग्यनिधिप्रदाभ्यां बोधप्रदाभ्यां धृतमोक्षदाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां। अनन्तसंसारसमुद्रतार नौकायिताभ्यां भक्तिदाभ्यां जाड्याब्धिसंशोषणवाडवाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ अस्य श्री गुरुगीतास्तोत्रमन्त्रस्य भगवान् सदाशिवऋषि नानावेदानि छन्दांसि श्री गुरु परमात्मा देवता हम बीजं सा शक्ति क्रों कीलकं श्री गुरु प्रसाद सिद्ध्यर्थे जपे विनियोगः। अथ ध्यानम् हंसाभ्यां परिवृत्तपत्रकमले दिव्ये जगत्कारणे विश्वोत्कीर्णमनेकदेहनिलये स्वच्छन्दमात्मेच्छया तद्योदम्बदशाम्भवं तु चरण दीपाङ्गुरग्राहिण प्रत्यक्षाक्षरविग्रहं गुरुपदं ध्यायेद्विभुं शाश्वतम्। सूत उवाच कैलासशिखरे रम्ये भक्तिचन्दाननायकं प्रणम्य पार्वती भक्त्या शङ्करं परिपृच्छति। श्रीदेव्योवाच ॐ नमो देवदेवेश परात्पर जगद्गुरो सदाशिव महादेव गुरो दीक्षां प्रदेहि मे। केन मार्गेण भूस्वामिन् देहि ब्रह्ममयो भवेत् त्वं कृपां कुरु मे स्वामी नमामि चरणौ तव। ईश्वर उवाच मम रूपासि देवे त्वं त्वत्प्रीत्यर्थं वदाम्यहम्। मूकोपकारक प्रश्नो न केनापि कृतः पुरा दुर्लभं त्रिषु लोकेषु तच्छृणुष्व वदाम्यहम्। गुरुं विना ब्रह्म नान्यत् सत्यं सत्यं वरानने। वेदशास्त्र पुराणानि इतिहासादिकानि च मन्त्रयन्त्रादिविद्याश्च स्मृतिरुच्चाटनादिकम्। शैवशाक्तगमादीनि अन्यानि विविधानि च अपभ्रंशकराणिह जीवानां भ्रान्तचेतसाम्। यज्ञं व्रतं तपोदानं जपं तीर्थं तथैव च गुरुतत्त्वमविज्ञाय मूढस्तु चरते जना। गुरुर्बुद्ध्यात्मनो नान्यत् सत्यं तथ्यं न संशयः। तल्लाभार्थं प्रयत्नस्तु कर्तव्यो हि मनीषिभिः। गूढविद्या जगन्माया देहे चाज्ञानसम्भवा। उदयो यत्प्रकाशेन गुरुशब्देन कथ्यते। ऊर्ध्वपापविशुद्धात्मा श्रीगुरोपादसेवनात् नेयि ब्रह्म भवेद्यस्मात् त्वत्कृपार्थं वदामि ते। गुरुपादाम्बुजं स्मृत्वा जलं शिरसि धारयेत् सर्वतीर्थावगाहस्य सम्प्राप्नोति फलं नरः। शोषणं पापपङ्कस्य दीपनं ज्ञानतेजसां गुरुपादोदकं सम्यक् संसारार्णवतारकम्। जन्मकर्म निवारणं ज्ञानवैराग्यसिद्ध्यर्थं गुरुपादोदकं पिबेत्। गुरुपादोदकं पीत्वा गुरोरुच्छिष्टभोजनं गुरुमूर्ते सदा ध्यानं गुरुमन्त्रं सदा जपेत्। काशीक्षेत्रं धन्यवासो जाह्नवीचरणोदकं गुरुर्विश्वेश्वरसाक्षात्कारकं ब्रह्म निश्चितं। गुरुपादोदकं यत्तु गयासो सोक्षयो भटः तीर्थराज प्रयागस्य गुरुमूर्ते नमो नमः। गुरुमूर्तिं स्मरे नित्यं गुरुनाम सदा जपेत्। गुरोराज्ञां प्रकुर्वीत गुरोरन्यन्यभावयेत्। गुरुवक्त्र स्थितं ब्रह्म प्राप्यते तत्प्रसादतः गुरुर्ध्यानं सदा कुर्यात् कुलस्त्री स्वपतिर्यथा स्वाश्रमं च स्वकीर्ति पुष्टिवर्धनम् एतत् सर्वं परित्यज्य गुरोरन्यन्यभावये अनन्या चिन्तयन्तो मां सुलभं परमं पदम् तस्मात् सर्वप्रयत्नेन गुरोराराधनं कुरु त्रैलोक्ये स्फुटवक्तारो देवाद्यासुरपन्नगा गुरोभक्त गुरो गोकारस्त्वन्धकारश्च ऋकारस्तेज उच्यते अज्ञानग्रासकं ब्रह्म गुरोरेव न संशय गोकार प्रथमो वर्णो मायादिगुणभासका ऋकारो द्वितीयो माया भ्रान्तिविनाशनम् एवं गुरुपदं श्रेष्ठं देवानामपि दुर्लभम् आहुः गणश्चैव गन्धर्वैश्च ध्रुवं तेषां च सर्वेषां नास्ति तत्त्वं गुरोपरम् आसनं शयनं वस्त्रं भूषणं वाहनादिकं साधकेन प्रदातव्यं गुरुसन्तोषकारकं गुरोराराधनं कार्यं स्वजीवित्वं निवेदये कर्मणा मनसा वाचा नित्यमाराधये गुरो दीर्घदण्डं नमस्कृत्य शरीरम् इन्द्रियं प्राणान् सद्गुरुभ्यो निवेदयेत् आत्मदारादिकं सर्वं सद्गुरुभ्यो निवेदयेत् कृमिकीटभस्मभीष्टा दुर्गन्धिमलमूत्रकं श्लेष्मरक्तं त्वचं मांसं वञ्चयन्नवरानने संसारवृक्षमारूढा पतन्तो नरकार्णवे येन चैवोद्धृता सर्वे तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुर्गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरा गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः एतवे जगतामेव संसारार्णवसेतवे प्रभवे सर्वविद्यानां शम्भवे गुरवे नमः अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं त्वं पिता त्वं च मे माता त्वं बन्धुस्त्वं च देवता संसारप्रतिबोधार्थं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः यत्सत्येन जगत्सत्यं यत्प्रकाशेन भाति तत् यदानन्देन नन्दन्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः यस्य स्थित्या सत्यमिदं यद्भाति भानुरूपतः प्रियं पुत्रादि यत्प्रीत्या येन चेतायते हिदं चित्तं चेतायते नयं जाग्रत्स्वप्नसुषुप्त्यादि तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः यस्य ज्ञानादिदं विश्वं न दृश्यं भिन्न वेदतः तदेकरूपरूपाय तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः यस्यामतं तस्यमतं मतं यस्य न वेदसः अनन्यभावभावाय तस्मै श्रीगुरवे अस्य कारणरूपस्य कार्यकारणरूपाय तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वरणता चैव तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। यदग्निकमलद्वन्द्वं द्वन्द्वतापनिवारकं तारकं सर्वदापद्भ्यः श्रीगुरुं प्रणमाम्यहम्। शिवे क्रुद्धे गुरुस्त्राता गुरुक्रुद्धे शिवो नहि तस्मात् सर्व शरणं व्रजे। वन्दे गुरुपदद्वन्द्वं वाङ्मनश्चित्तगोचरं श्वेतरक्तप्रभाविन्नं शिवशक्त्यात्मकं परं गोकारं जगुणातीतं ऋकारं रूपवर्जितं गुणातीतस्वरूपं च यो दद्यात् स गुरुस्मृता। आत्रिनेत्र सर्वसाक्षी अचतुर्बाहुरच्युता अचतुर्वदनो ब्रह्म श्रीगुरो कथिता प्रिय। अयं मयाञ्जलिर्बद्धो दयासागरवृद्धये यदनुग्रहतो जन्तुश्चित्रसंसारमुक्तिभाक्। श्रीगुरो परमं रूपं विवेकचक्षुषोऽमृतं मन्दभाग्यान् पश्यन्ति अन्धः सूर्योदयं यथा। श्रीनाथचरणद्वन्द्वं यस्यां दिशि विराजते तस्यै दिशे नमस्कुर्य भक्त्या प्रतिदिनं प्रिये। तस्यै दिशे सततमञ्जलिरेचार्य प्रक्षेप्यते मुखरितो मधुपैर्बुधैश्च जागर्ति यत्र भगवान् गुरुचक्रवर्ती। विश्वोदया प्रलय नाटक नित्यसा श्रीनाथादिगुरुत्रयं गणपतिं पीठात्रयं भैरवं सिद्धौघं बटुकात्रयं पदयुगं दूतीक्रमं मण्डलं वीरान्दु वीरावले पञ्चगं श्रीमान्मालिनी मन्त्रराजसहितं वन्दे गुरुर्मण्डलम्। अव्यस्ते सकले सुदीर्घमनिले व्याधे प्रदैर्दुष्करे प्राणायामशतैरनेककरणे दुःखात्मके दुर्जये। यस्मिन्नाभ्युदिते विनाशति बले वायो स्वयं दक्षिणात् प्राप्तं दासजं स्वभावमनिशं सेवध्वमेकं गुरुम्। स्वदेशिकसेव शरीरचिन्तनं भवेदनन्तः स्वदेशिकसेव च नाम कीर्तनं भवेदनन्तः सजीवस्य कीर्तनं। यत्पादरेणुकणिका कापि संसारवारिधे सेतुवन्दायते नाथं देशिकं तमुपास्महे। यस्मादनुग्रहं लब्ध्वा महदज्ञानमुत्सृजे तस्मै श्रीदेशिकेन्द्राय नमस्ताभीष्टसिद्धये। नाथं सर्वसं ब्रह्मरन्ध्रे चिदाम्भोज मध्यस्थं चन्द्रमण्डले आगतादित्रिरेखाब्जे सहस्रदलं मण्डले हंसपार्श्वा त्रिकोणे च स्मरे तन्मध्यगं गुरुं सकलभुवनसृष्टि कल्पिता शेषपुष्टिर्निखिलनिगमदृष्टिर् सम्पदां व्यर्थदृष्टि अवगुणपरिमाष्टे तत्पदार्थैकदृष्टि भवगुणपरमेष्टे मोक्षमार्गैकदृष्टि सकलभुवन सकरुणरसवृष्टे तत्त्वमाला समष्टि सद्दृष्टि निवसतु मयि नित्या श्रीगुरुर्दिव्यदृष्टि अग्निशोद्धं समन्तातु ज्वालापरे च कादिया मन्द्रराजमिमं मन्ये अर्णिसंवादु मृत्युदा तदेजति तन्नैजति तद्दूरे तत्समीपके तदन्तरस सर्वस्य तदो सर्वस्य वाह्यता अजोऽहमजरोऽहं च अनादिनिधनस्वयम् अविकारसिदानन्द अणियान्मा त्वमा विरजम्बरमाकाशं ध्रुवमानन्दमव्ययम् श्रुतिप्रत्यक्षमैतेयम् अनुमानश्चतुष्टयम् यज्ञात्मा तपो वेद देशिकं च सदा स्मरे मननं यद्भवं कार्यं तद्वदामि महामते साधुत्वं च मया दृष्टं त्वयि तिष्ठति साम्प्रतम् अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः विराजिता पदाम्बुजः वेदान्ताम्बुजसूर्यो यत् तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः यस्य स्मरणमात्रेण ज्ञानमुत्पद्यते स्वयं य एव सर्वसम्प्राप्ते तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः चैतन्यं शाश्वतं शान्तं व्योमातीतं निरञ्जनं नादबिन्दुकलातीतं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः सावरं जङ्गमं चैव तथा चैव चराचरं व्याप्तं येन जगत्सर्वं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः ज्ञानशक्तिसमारूढा तत्त्वमाला विभूषिता भोक्तिमुक्ति प्रदाताय तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः अनेका जन्म सम्प्राप्त सर्वकर्मविदायिने स्वात्मज्ञान प्रभावेण तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः न गुरोरधिकं तत्त्वं न गुरोरधिकं तपः तत्त्वं ज्ञानात् परं नास्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः ज्ञानमूलं गुरुमूर्ति पूजामूलं गुरुपरं मन्त्रमूलं गुरुर्वाक्यं मोक्षमूलं गुरुकृपा गुरुरादिरनादिश्च गुरुपरमदैवतं गुरुपरतरं नास्ति श्री गुरवे नमः। सप्तसागरपर्यन्त तीर्थस्नानादिकं फलं गुरोरङ्घ्रिपयो विन्दो आहदांशेन दुर्लभम्। हरोरुष्टे गुरुस्त्राता गुरोरुष्टे न कश्चन तस्मात् सर्वप्रयत्नेन श्रीगुरुं शरणं व्रजे। गुरोरेव जगत्सर्वं ब्रह्म विष्णु शिवात्मकं गुरोरपरं नास्ति तस्मात् सम्पूजयेत् गुरुं। ज्ञानं विज्ञानसहितं लभ्यते गुरुभक्तिता गुरुपरतरं नास्ति देयौसौ गुरुमार्गिवे। तस्मात् परतरं नास्ति एति नेतीति वै श्रुते मनसा वचसा चैव नित्यमाराधयेत्। देवकिन्नरगन्धर्वा पितरो यक्षचारणा मुनयोऽपि न जानन्ति गुरुशुश्रूषणे विधिं। माऽहङ्कारगर्वेण तपो विद्यावलान्विता निन्दारकुहर्ति घटयन्त्रे यथा घटा। न मुक्ता देवगन्धर्वा पितरो यक्षकिन्नरा ऋषया सर्वसिद्धाश्च गुरुसेवा पराङ्मुखा। ज्ञानं दृणो महादेवी सर्वानन्दप्रदायकं सर्वसौख्यकरं नित्यं भुक्तिमुक्तिविदायकम्। श्रीमत्परब्रह्म गुरुं स्मरामि श्रीमत्परब्रह्म गुरुं परब्रह्म गुरुं नमामि श्रीमत्परब्रह्म गुरुं भजामि। ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं एकं नित्यं विमलं सर्वदेशाक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। नित्यं शुद्धं निराभासं निराकारं निरञ्जनं नित्यबोधचिदानन्दं सर्वं ब्रह्म नमाम्यहम्। हृदम्बुजे कर्णिकमध्य संस्थे सिंहासने संस्थितदेव्यं ध्याये गुरुं चन्द्रकलाप्रकाशं यत्पुस्तकाभीष्टवरं ददानं। पीताम्बरं श्वेतविलेपपुष्पं मुक्ताभिभूषं मुदितं द्विनेत्रं मामाङ्गपीठस्थितदिव्यशक्तिं मन्दास्थितं सान्द्रकृपानिधम्। आनन्दवानन्दकरं प्रसन्नं ज्ञानस्वरूपं नयबोधयुक्तं योगेन्द्रमीड्यं भवरोगमेद्यं श्रीमद्गुरुं निहमहं नमामि। यस्मिन् सृष्टे स्थितिध्वंसा निग्रहानुग्रहात्मकं कृत्यं पञ्चविधं शाश्वत भासते तं नमाम्यहम्। प्रातः शिरसि शुक्लाब्जे विनेत्रं द्विभुजं गुरुं वराभयायुतं शान्तं स्मरेतं नामपूर्वकम्। न गुरोरधिकं न गुरोरधिकं न गुरोरधिकं न गुरोरधिकं देवता जनता देवता जनता देवता जनता तमेव शिवं द्विदमेव मम शासनतो मम शासनतो एवं विधं गुरुं ध्यात्वा ज्ञानं चते स्वयं तत्सद्गुरुप्रसादेन मुदा इति भावये गुरुदर्शितमार्गेण मनःशुद्धिं तु कारयेत् अनित्यं खण्डयेत् सर्वं यत्किञ्चिदात्मगोचरं ज्ञेयं सर्वस्वरूपं च ज्ञानं च मन उच्यते ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं समं कुर्यात् नान्यपन्था द्वितीयक एवं श्रुत्वा महादेवी गुरुनिन्दां करोति यः स याति नरक यावच्चन्द्रदिवाकरो यावत्कल्पान्तको देहस्तावदेव गुरुं स्मरेत् नुरोलोपो न कर्तव्य स्वच्छन्दो यदि वा भवेत् ओङ्कारेण न वक्तव्यं वाक्ये शिष्ये कथञ्चन गुरोरग्रे न वक्तव्य असत्यं च कदाचन गुरुं त्वङ्कृत्य ओङ्कृत्य गुरुं निर्जित्य बाधता अरण्ये निर्जले देशे स भवेत् ब्रह्म राक्षस मुनिविपन्नगैर्वापि सुरैर्वा शापितो यदि कालमृत्यो भयाद्वापि गुरो रक्षति पार्वती अशक्ता हि सुराध्यस्य अशक्ता मुनयस्तथा गुरो शापेन ते शीघ्रं क्षयं यान्ति न संशय मन्त्रराजमिमं देवी गुरोरित्यक्षरद्वयं स्मृति वेदार्थवाक्येन गुरो साक्षात् परं पदम् स्मृति वेदाज्ञाय केवलं गुरुसेवका इतरे वेषधारिणा नित्यं ब्रह्म निराकारं निर्गुणं बोधयेद्वरं सर्वमा निराभासं दीपो दीपान्तरं यथा गुरुकृपाप्रसादेन आत्मारामं निरीक्षयेत् अनेन गुरुमार्गेण स्वात्मज्ञानं प्रवर्तते आब्रह्मस्तम्भपर्यन्तं परमात्मस्वरूपकं स्थावरं जङ्गमं चैव नमामि जगन्मयं वन्देऽहं सच्चिदानन्दं वेदातीतं सदा गुरुं नित्यं पूर्णं निराकारं निर्गुणं स्वात्मसंस्थितं परात् परात्तरं देयं नित्यमानन्दकारकं हृदयाकाशमध्यस्थं शुद्धस्फटिकसन्निभं स्फटिकाप्रतिमारूपं तथात्मनि चिदाकारम् आनन्दं सोऽमृत्युत अङ्गुष्ठमात्रपुरुषं ध्यायत चिन्मयं हृदि तत्र स्फुरति भावोय शृणुतं कथयाम्यहम् अगोचरं तदागम्यं नामरूपविवर्जितं निःशब्दं तद्विजानीय स्वभावं ब्रह्म पार्वती यदा गन्धा स्वभावेन परपुरकुसुमादिषु शीतोष्णादि स्वभावेन तदा ब्रह्म च सा साधव्यं यत्र कुत्रचित् तो भ्रमरवतत्र ध्यानं भवति तादृशम् मुक्तो सौ नात्र संशय श्रीपार्वती उवाच पिण्डं किं नो महादेव पदं किं समुदारितं रूपातीतं च रूपं किम् एतदाख्यायि शङ्करम् श्रीमहादेव उवाच पिण्डं कुण्डलिनी शक्ति पदं हंसमुदारितं रूपं बिन्दुरिति गेयं रूपातीतं निरञ्जनं पिण्डे मुक्ता पदे मुक्ता रूपे मुक्ता वरानने रूपातीते तु ये मुक्ता ते मुक्ता नात्र संशय अयं सर्वमयो भूत्वा परं तत्त्वं विलोकये परात् परतरं नान्यत् सर्वमेतन्निरालयम् तस्यावलोकनं प्राप्य सर्वसङ्गविवर्जितम् एकाकी निःस्पृहा शान्तः तिष्ठासि तत्प्रसादतः लब्धं वा धनलब्धं वा अल्पं वा बहुलं तथा निष्कामेनैव भोक्तव्यं सदा सन्तुष्टचेतसा सर्वज्ञपदमित्याहुर्देहि सर्वमयो बुधा सदानन्द सदा शान्तो रमते यत्र कुत्रचित् यत्रैव तिष्ठते सोऽपि मुक्तस्य लक्षणं देवि अवाग्रे कथितं मया उपदेशस्तथा देवी गुरुमार्गेण मुक्तिदः गुरो सकलं तव कीर्तितम् अनेन यद्भवेत् कार्यं तद्वदामि महामते लोकोपकारकं देवि लौकिकं तु न भावेत् लौकिकात् कर्मणो यान्ति हानि तु भावयेत् सर्वं कर्म निष्कर्म यत्कृतं ज्ञानी तु जगत्वा तत्प्रदातव्यं तत्सर्वं सफलं भवेत् गुरो गीतात्मरं देवी दत्त्वं मयोदितं भवव्याधिविनाशार्थं मन्त्रराजमिमं जपेत् अन्ये च विविधा मन्त्रा कलां नारन्ति षोडशीम् अनन्तः फलमाप्नोति गुरुगीता जपेन तु सर्वपापप्रशमनं सर्वदरिद्रनाशनं कालमृत्युभयहरं सर्वसङ्कटनाशनं यक्षराक्षसभूतानां चोरव्याघ्रभयापहम् महाव्याधिहरं सर्वं विभूतिसिद्धिदं भवेत् अथवा मोहनं वश्यं स्वयमेव जपेत् सदा वस्त्रासने च दारिद्र्यं पाषाणे रोगसम्भवा मेदिन्यां दुःखमाप्नोति काष्ठे भवति निष्फलम् कृष्णाजिने ज्ञानसिद्धि उषर्वादुर्वया देवी आसने शुभ्रकम्बले उपाविश्य ततो देवी जपेदेकाग्रमानस देयं शुक्लं च शान्त्यर्थं वैश्ये रक्तासनं प्रिये अविचारे कृष्णवर्णं पीतवर्णं धनागमे तत्तरे शान्तिकामस्तु वैश्ये पूर्वमुखो दक्षिणे मारणं प्रोक्तं स्वरिति च धनागमः मोहनं सर्वभूतं मोक्षकरं प्रियकरं सर्वलोकवशं भवेत् गुणानां च विवर्धनं दुष्कर्मनाशनं चैव सुकर्मसिद्धिदं भवेत् असिद्धं साधयेत् कार्यं नवग्रहभयापहं दुःस्वप्ननाशनं चैव सुस्वप्नफलदायकम् सर्वशान्तिकरं नित्यं ददा वन्द्या सुपुत्रदम् अवैधव्यकरं श्रीणां सौभाग्यदायकं सदा आयुरारोग्यमैश्वर्यं पुत्रपौत्रप्रवर्धनम् अकामता स्त्रीविधवा जपान्मोक्षमवाप्नुयात् अवैधव्यं सकामतो लभते चान्यजन्मनि सर्वदुःखभयं विघ्नं नवकारकम् सर्वबाधाप्रशमनं धर्मार्थकाममोक्षदं यं यं चिन्तयते कामं तं तं प्राप्नोति निश्चितम् कामितस्य कामधेनु कल्पना कल्पपादप चिन्तामणिर्चिन्तितस्य मोक्षहेतुर्जपे नित्यं मोक्षश्रियमवाप्नुयात् भोगकामो जपेद्यो वै तस्य कामफलप्रदम् जपेक्षाक्तस्य सौरस्य गाढपत्यस्य वैष्णवः शैवस्य सिद्धिदं देवि सदा काम्य जपे स्थानं हतयामि वरानने सागरे वा सरितीरे तवा हरिहरालये सर्वदेवालये गोष्ठे सर्वदेवालये शुभे बटे च दात्रिमूले वा मठे वृन्दावने तथा पवित्रे निर्मले स्थाने नित्यानुष्ठानतोऽपि वा निर्वेदनेन मौनेन जपामि तं समाचरे श्मशाने वयभूमौ तु बटमूलान्तिके तथा सिद्ध्यन्ति दावतरे मूले सूतवृक्षस्य सन्निधौ गुरुपुत्रो वरं मूर्खस्तस्य विद्यन्ते नान्यथा शुद्धकर्माणि सर्वाणि दीक्षाव्रततपांसि च संसारमलनाशार्थं भवपाशनिवृत्तये गुरुगीतां वसिष्ठानं तत्त्वज्ञा कुरुते सदा ऐव च गुरु साक्षात् सदा सद्ब्रह्मवेत्तमा तस्य स्थानानि सर्वाणि पवित्राणि न संशया सर्वशुद्ध पवित्रोऽसौ स्वभावाद्यत्र तिष्ठति तत्र देवागणा सर्वे क्षेत्रे पीठे वसन्ति आसनस्थः शयानो वा तिष्ठन् वदन्नपि अश्वारूढो गजारूढः सुप्तो जागरितोऽपि वा शुचे स्म सदा ज्ञानी गुरुगीतात्मेन तु तस्य दर्शनमार्गेण विद्यते समुद्रे च यथा तोयं क्षीरे क्षीरं घृते घृतं वृन्ने कुम्भे यथाकाश तदात्मा परमात्मनि यदैव ज्ञानी जीवात्मा परमात्मा निलीयते ऐक्येन रमते ज्ञानी यत्र तत्र दिवानिशम् संविदो महामुक्ता सर्वदा वर्तते बुधा तस्य सर्वप्रयत्नेन भावभक्तिं करोति यः सर्वसन्देहरहितो मुक्तो भवति पार्वती जिह्वाग्रे च सरस्वती अनेन प्राणिना सर्वे गुरुगीता जपेन तु सर्वसिद्धिं प्राप्नुवन्ति गुरुतीव्र संशया सत्यं सत्यं पुनः सत्यं धर्म्यं सांख्यं अयोदितं गुरुगीता समं नास्ति सत्यं सत्यं वरानने एको देव एक धर्म एक नास्ति तत्त्वं गुरुपरं माता धन्या पिता धन्यो धन्यो वंशाकुलं तथा गुरुभक्ति सुदुर्लभा शरीरम् इन्द्रियं प्राणात् चार्थ स्वजनबान्धवा नता पिता कुलं देवी गुरुरेव न संशय आकल्पजन्मनं कोट्य जपव्रत तपक्रिया देवर्षि पितृकिन्नरा सिद्धचारणयक्षाश्च अन्येऽपि मुनयो जना अन्यतीर्थं निरर्थकं सर्वतीर्थाश्रयो देवी पादाङ्गुष्ठं च वर्तते अभेन जयमाप्नोति चानन्तफलमाप्नुयात् हेन कर्म त्यजन् सर्वं दानानि च दमानि च जपं हीनासनं कुरु न फलप्रदं गुरुगीता ज्ञानेव सङ्ग्रामेर्भुसङ्कटे जपन्यमवाप्नोति मरणे मुक्तिदायकं सर्वकर्म च सर्वत्र गुरुपुत्रस्य सिद्ध्यति इदं रहस्यं नो वाच्यं तवाग्रे कथितं मया सोगोप्यं च प्रयत्नेन मम त्वं च प्रियाद्विति स्वामी मुख्य गणेशादि वैष्णवादीनां च पार्वती मनसापि न वक्तव्यं सत्यं सत्यं वदाम्यहम् अतीव पक्वचित्ताय श्रद्धाभक्तियुताय च प्रवक्तव्यमिदं देवी ममात्मासि सदा प्रिये अवक्ते नित्यगे धूर्ते पाखण्डे नास्तिके नरे मनसापि न वक्तव्यं गुरुगीता कदाचन संसारसागरसमुद्धरणैकमत्रं ब्रह्मादिदेवमुनिपूजितसिद्धमन्त्रं दारिद्र्यदुःखभवरोगविनाशे महाभयगुरुराजमन्त्रम् इति श्रीस्कन्दपुराणे उत्तरखण्डे ईश्वरपार्वतीसंवादे गुरुगीता समाप्ता। श्री गुरुदेव नित्यानन्दाय गुरवे शिष्यसंसाराय भक्तकार्ये कदेहाय नमस्ते चित्सदात्मने निर्वासनं निराकाङ्क्षं सर्वदोषविवर्जितं निरालम्बं निरातङ्कं नित्यानन्दं निर्ममं निरहङ्कारं समलोष्टात्मकाञ्चनं समदुःखसुखं धीरम् अवधूतं नमाम्यहम् अविनाशिनमात्मानम् एकं विज्ञाय तत्त्वतः वीतरागभयक्रोधं नित्यानन्दं नमाम्यहम् नामदेवो न मे देहो जीवो नामाम्यहम् एवं विज्ञाय सन्तुष्टम् अवधूतं नमाम्यहम् समस्तं कल्पनामात्रम् आत्मा मुक्तः सनातनः यदि विज्ञाय सन्तुष्टः नित्यानन्दं नमाम्यहम् ज्ञानाग्निदग्धकर्माणं कामसङ्कल्पवर्जितं येयोपादेयहीनं नैव यो योगी सुखं भोगं न वाञ्छति यदृच्छालाभसन्तुष्टं नित्यानन्दं नमाम्यहम् प्रशंसाभ्यां यस्य विक्रियते मनः आत्मक्रीडां महात्मानं नित्यानन्दं नमाम्यहम् नित्यं जाग्रदवस्थायां स्वप्नवद्योऽवतिष्ठति निश्चिन्तं चिन्मयात्मानं नित्यानन्दं नमाम्यहम् द्वेषं नास्ति प्रियं नास्ति नास्ति यस्य शुभाशु वेदज्ञानविहीनं तम् अवधूतं नमाम्यहम् जडं वशति नो यस्तु जगत्पश्यति चिन्मयं नित्ययुक्तं गुणातीतं नित्यानन्दं नमाम्यहम् यो हि दर्शनमात्रेण भवते भुवनद्वयम् आवनं जङ्गमं तीर्थम् अवधूतं नमाम्यहम् सर्वभुजं सदा पूर्णम् अखण्डानन्दविग्रहम् स्वप्रकाशं चिदानन्दं नित्यानन्दं नमाम्यहम् निष्कलं निष्क्रियं शान्तं निर्मलं परमामृतं गणेशपुरिवासिनम् अवधूतं नमाम्यहम् योगपूर्णो भूयात् सज्जना शान्तिमाप्नुयात् शान्तो मुच्येतवन्देभ्यो मोक्षशान्यान् विमोचयेत् स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्याय्येन मार्गेण मयिषा गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी निजोऽयं क्षोभरहितो ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् सर्वस्तरतु दुर्गाणि सर्वो भद्राणि पश्यतु सर्वकामान् अवाप्नोतु सर्वत्र नन्दतु स्वस्ति मातरौ पित्रे नो अस्तु स्वस्ति गोभ्यो जगते पुरुषेभ्यः विश्वं सुभूतं सुविधात्रं नो अस्तु योगे वदृश्येमसु ॐ शान्ति 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 आरती करूं सद्गुरु की करूं सद्गुरु के प्यारे गुरु पर की आरती करूं गुरु पर की आरती करूं सद्गुरु के करूं सद्गुरु के प्यारे गुरु पर की आरती करूं गुरु पर की जय गुरुदेव अमल अविनाशी ज्ञान रूप तर के वासी जय गुरुदेव अमल अविनाशी ज्ञान रूप तर के वासी पग पग पर दे ते प्रकाश जय ते किरण दिन कर की आरती करूं गुरु पर की आरती करूं सद्गुरु की करूं सद्गुरु की पार पर की आरती करूं गुरु पर की जब जे शरण तुम्हारे आए अमृत से मेरे भल पाए जब जे शरण तुम्हारे आए अमृत शरण तुम्हारे क्या है छाया कल्प वृक्ष तरु पर के आरती करूं गुरु वर के आरती करूं सद्गुरु के करूं सद्गुरु के प्यारे गुरु वर की आरती करूं गुरु वर की ब्रह्म ज्ञान के पूर्ण प्रकाश कयो ज्ञान के अटल प्रवर्तक ब्रह्म ज्ञान के जय गुरु चरण सरो मिटा दे व्यथा हमारे और की आरती करूं गुरु वर की आरती करूं सद्गुरु की करूं सद्गुरु के प्यारे गुरु वर की आरती करूं गुरु पर की अंधकार से हमें निकाला दिखलाया हमारा उजाला अंधकार से हमें निकालाधिकला कब से जाने जान रहे थे खाक सुनो दर दर की आरती करूं गुरुवर की आरती करूं सदगुरु की करूं सदगुरु की प्यारे गुरुवर की आरती करूं गुरुवर की संशय मिटा विवेक कराया भवसागर से पार लंघाया संशय मिटा विवेक कराया भवसागर से पार लंघाया हमारा प्रदीप जला कर कर दे निजादोराय सतन के आरती करो गुरुवर की आरती करो सदा लोगे करो सदा गुरु के हे गुरुवर की आरती करो गुरुवर वेदो वेच वेद बताया मन विमुक्त कराया वेच वेद बताया धन्य हुए हम पारदारा ब्रह्म ज्ञान निरजर के आरती करूं गुरुवर की आरती करूं सदगुरु के प्यार गुरुवर की आरती करूं गुरुवर की करो कृपा सद्गुरु सतपथ दर्शक भ्रांति निवार करो कृपा सद्गुरु जगता सतपथ दर्शक भ्रांति निवार नित्य ज्योति देखा माले लीलाधर की आरती करूं गुरुवर आरती करूं सदगुरु की सदगुरु के प्यारे गुरुवर की आरती करूं गुरुवर नित्यानंद सद्गुरु दाता शक्तिपात के दिव्य प्रदाता मुक्तानंद कर के बात गणेश पुरे बाबा बांधारले धन के आरती करूं गुरुवर आरती करूं सद्गुरु के करूं सद्गुरु के प्यारे गुरुवर के आरती करूं गुरुवर की ओम चैतन्यं शाश्वतं शान्तं व्योमातीतं निरञ्जनं नादबिन्दु फलातीतं तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज Shiva सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय।
Welcome, everybody, to Sunday morning Satsang. There's a few new faces, so let us begin. Nityanandaya Gurave Shisha Samsara Bhattaraye Kadehaya Namaste Chitsaratmane Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidanandamurtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niranandaya Tejase Om Sahana Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe Om Shanti 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 Sadhgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. So, I'll try that again. Here we are, Sunday morning satsang, as usual. Welcome to everyone here, live, and wherever you might be if you're tuning in via live stream. So, what are we doing? I'm asking you that question because I was asking myself that question the last couple of days, thinking, what now? Why? What am I talking about? What are we delving into? That question can have a couple of sides at least. One of the sides has a kind of make it relevant. I need to look at why I'm doing what I'm doing. So what I want to say is we've been studying, reviewing, exploring Shiva Shakti this year. And to understand that and why we're doing that, I'll go tell you, there's a couple of stories. One is with Gurudev, one is with Baba Mutananda. This story with Gurudev came towards the end of last year. And he had been here for his visit and he was about to leave. And for some reason, I was called over a little meeting about what's going to happen this year. And one of the things he said was, I was just thinking, I have props. And he showed me this. Nice little, and I had never seen it before. Saundarya Lahari. Saundarya Lahari. And he just said, I think this would be good for people to study. And inside of myself, I thought, yeah, that's one way of looking at it. And if people see this, and myself thinking, wow. So we had a little discussion about that, and it was decided that this would be the subject of study. And I was here in his place, and at the end of it, we wound up some other things, and I left. And the next program, Gurudev said, or when I saw him next, he said, you left a book. You didn't take the book, and I didn't. And you didn't take the book with you. For me, one of the things that came out of that, as I reflected on it, was, you know how those things happen? You may have seen them in movies. It's like, you go to put something down, and you're going to walk away, and and you do that, and it just sticks for some reason. There's something important, there's something significant enough for that to want to come with you, and I had just let it go. Stay with me on this, because now I'm going to go some years back with Baba Mutananda. And making a very long story short, one of the things that happened was I went to spend some time with him initially, just to spend time with this holy man, this sage, this saint, this guru, during my summer vacation. So I did that. Moving along quickly, many things happened. And then when it was time for him to go back to India, and I was definitely going back to grad school and, starting a whole teaching career, he said, you should come with me to India. And I thought, that's big. That's going to be a real challenge. Basically what I thought was, that's going to be one of the biggest challenges of my life. And everything is going to change if I do that. And I did it. All good, did it. What I'm saying is, when I started thinking about what to say about Shiva Shakti, Saundarya Lahari, somehow none of these stories came to my mind. And I feel like what it was about was to take the next step. Sometimes it can seem like a massive step. But if you take the next step in a small way, if you will, just, turn that direction, look into it. I need a flight, I need a ticket, I need a car to drive, something, just that next step. That's really all you have to do. And that thing, like that book, which seems so big, you don't have to digest that all in one go. it's not necessary. And so, and also the process, although it seems like one, because we were going from west to east, even in a physical way, a linear process. It's not normally a linear process in the spiritual realm. It's, if anything, it's more about going in than anywhere in any east, west, south, north direction. So, that's one of the things that came to me. It's not a linear study that we're doing, even though it seems like that we do. This scripture, that scripture. I think it's important to change our understanding of what is the next thing, and why is that the next thing, and what will that do for my sadhana and my practice and my upliftment and my spiritual journey. Is that? And so, I'm telling you my story. Hopefully you're kind of organizing your story. You know, like, what was your first thought when you saw that, or any of the other things that we've studied? What comes up inside? And what do we need to do? Because this is 7th month out of a year-long approach, and that's why I think it came up for me. It's like, are we just going to keep seemingly doing exactly the same thing, maybe a different shloka, and I will get to a different shloka, but I thought there's something significant, just this reflection on why. What are you doing? So with Baba Mutananda, it was his version. With Gurudev, it's his version of saying it. It's a little thing, or it comes out as a big thing, but really it's about a shift somewhere in us. That's the point. And that's what we need to tune in. What is the point? So if we're studying Shiva Shakti, what is the point of that? What is that going to do for our development, our upliftment? So I said this thing about it's not a linear process. And the significant thing, one of the significant things for me with this study of Shiva Shakti is it's poetry. It's poetry. It's not like a classic scripture, Patanjali, Kashmir Shaivism even, or Vedanta. And so part of the thing that happens for us when we're doing this is there needs to be an internal shift inside of us to align with what this text is about. To align. So if it's about, well, beauty, you know, the waves of beauty, then somehow or another, that's one of our shifts that we need to make. How do I tune into that? So, I don't know, if you go to the Louvre, if you go to a museum, if you go to something like that and you stand and you're looking, you're not trying to write a linear text. What are you doing in that moment? Because I believe there's an element of that in this. As we read the shlokas, yes, there's words, there's Sanskrit, there's translations of those words, but really, it's about this. What do I feel when I look at this? What do I feel when I listen to that shloka? Isn't that a different approach? It's not just all details. Yes, there's tons of details in them. Yes, that's also there. But more than that, there's something about how is it impacting me, uplifting me. So when Gurudev said, I'm thinking of making this the study, you look at the size of the book and say, oh my God, I gotta go through all of that to be prepared. No. You have to step into a different space. A space of the divine feminine. The space of that which is the source of everything. So then, it's like you don't have to do it all at once. You just have to enter into the process with some understanding of what it is. So I believe that's a big part of what we're doing here. And as we do it, we take steps. So here, we're challenged not just to shift our understanding. I would dare say this, that we are challenged to shift our heart. we're challenged to shift our heart. So the very thing that's challenged many people which is, so we've got this Devi, we've got this form, we've come from the formless of Vedanta, of Kashmir Shaivism, yes, all Shakti, all of that, wonderful. But now it feels like we're going almost backwards into a form. That's a very left brain way of thinking about it. Left brain meaning linear. If we don't get the essence of the form, like when we're looking at that painting, yes, there's a form, but what is it really about? It's about what that form does for us, isn't it? And so you're standing next to someone and they're looking too, and you look over at them, they look at you, and you go, what do you think? Well, it's for me, for me it's more, but this is a great, quote, conversation, isn't it? Because you're each helping the other try to go a bit deeper, try to look at it from different perspectives. So this is not just a philosophy, another philosophy that we've done. As brilliant, as wonderful, whether it's Patanjali, whether it's Shiva Sutras, you name it. This is something that is more of what we would call a tantric devotional poetry that has beautiful waves of poetry. And it's meant to be absorbed as well as practiced. Absorbed as well as practiced. So if I were to just take as an example, put something on the table, because you don't have to go in a linear fashion. So I'm looking at the 24th shloka, okay? And there's many different ways of giving it a title, and one that I was looking at from the Sanskrit channel was good. It talked about it as Pancha Kritya. Pancha is 5, Kritya is actions. So we know it from Kashmir Shaivism as the 5 forms, 5 actions of God: creation, sustenance, dissolution, the whole process of tirodhana, hiding, and then grace, anugraha. Okay, so he's saying this is about that, and that probably grabbed me a little bit. I went, oh, I think I know that. 5 activities of the gods conducted, this is the unique bit, conducted by her eyes alone. So what it's really saying is, and just step to the key phrases, with the authority of your command, who is your? The Devi. Given by your eyebrow. So and this is also what kind of grabbed me. What it's saying here is like the Devi is giving the instructions to Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva to do their things as representatives of creation, sustenance, and dissolution, but not as a general and a commander saying, do this. It happens simply through a little raising of the eyebrow. Isn't that cute? So her instruction says, means do it. Okay? And it's moved just for a moment. And that subtle movement gives birth to creation from the Lord Brahma. It will be sustained with the help of Vishnu. And ultimately, Lord Rudra, Shiva, whichever word or name suits you, withdraws or absorbs. It's never eliminated completely, just taken back in. So we know those 3 actions, but it's saying here that it is the Devi who's given the instruction in the subtlest. That's how powerful. All she has to do is just, and then it starts to happen. And these 3 great gods, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, that we look up to, they just do her bidding like that. This is that whole thing of Shiva can do nothing without Shakti. And this is just an example of this, just that little thing, and it happens. Now, there's some other things in there that is interesting. One of the phrases is, this is done. There's a denial that's happening here. God denies his presence in all of this. And this is one of the things that also struck me. I thought, what are they trying to say? They're saying that even though the divine gives clearly, well, subtly, an instruction, in a sense, then is it the protagonist? Disappears, Shiva and Shakti. It's like, now we're just in a world, it's just all of us. All the things. What happened to God? And we even question, we say, is there a God? How do you know there's a God? Do you believe in God? I don't know. And God has created all of this out of it himself, out of Shakti. It's all Shakti. And we're, not necessarily us personally, but the royal we, are asking the question, is there a God? No, I'm an atheist. Well, I'm an agnostic. I don't even know. Can you see, this is the hiding. How powerful is that hiding that we're even asking, does it exist? But the whole cause, the substance, everything is Shakti, but hidden so beautifully. And so what a lot of this is about is, let's go back and look at, if we're looking at this particular sutta, it is the Devi herself who instigates all of this. So if she's instigated it, and it is her, what is our problem? Why can't we worship her in all of this? And that's what it's about. That's what it's saying. Worship that Devi who has created it through her, the gods, Brahma, Vishnu, who serve, everything serves the Devi. So the hiding, I think, is one of the things that we have to deal with. And when we put our heart into feeling the presence of the Devi, I feel it's taking us to another level, beyond simply understanding it intellectually, but to feel it within our being. To feel it within our being. Because if we can feel it, we will start to experience it. There's if you're a Christian, I guess it's a famous statement by Jesus. He says this: whenever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it, and then it will be yours. I'll say that again. Whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have already received it, and it will be yours. This, for me, started to relate to what we're talking about when we're talking about everything is Shakti. So if we ask for something and we feel we don't have it, can you see the problem in that? Because if this is all Shakti, and we've asked Shakti for something that is here, then the first thing we need to do is to believe it. Believe it, it's all here. We may not be experiencing it right now, but if we come from that belief, and this is the Tantric yoga tradition, it says it's all here, in everything. It is that Shiva. So believe from a state of fullness, because the only way you can get the full belief is if you are feeling that Shakti is everything. Then you start to feel, well then, if this is all Shakti, it has to be here, what I'm asking for. Om Purnamidam. We say that, don't we, so often. From the perfect comes the perfect. That's just another way of saying this. If everything is the Divine Mother, Shakti, then the meaning is you already have it. It just needs to be manifested. Another way of saying it, we are the universe experiencing itself. We are the universe experiencing itself. So if you go back to that shloka, it says, it's all here. Hidden, perhaps, but it is here. Feel that, practice that, reflect on that. worship that Devi who has done all of that, or made all of that happen. Grace, anugraha, is mentioned here too. So, how do we get grace from what's being said here? If you reflect on that, these things that we're saying, it's all Shakti, it's all the divine. Jesus is saying, whatever you pray for, it's already there. So, how do we get grace?
It's already here.
Somebody said something.
It's already here.
It's already here. But what if I'm not feeling it?
Too bad.
Too bad, right? So this is the space that it takes us in. It says if we're really getting this, and we feel and believe it's already here, that's what we have to settle into. It is here. And it is ways that we can, everything isn't hidden. Yes, certain things are hidden, but not everything. So we experience the grace in the form of our interest in the divine, our interest in God, our interest in the spiritual path. That interest itself is a form of grace. The interest in the divine, the interest in God, the interest in the Spirit is itself a form of grace. Maybe it feels small, but look, we're all here. So now the next question for you is, why are you here? We were talking about this at breakfast the other day, and we were saying, isn't it interesting? Look at us, we're just so different in terms of our journey in life and where we're from and all of that. Here we are at the same table. How could that be? You know, this one started from there doing that, went over here, and that one had a career in that, and they were on the other side of the globe, and that person was on an island in the Pacific, and all of these differences, and despite that, here we are. And the Tantric tradition says one of the key elements of the path is to be in the company, satsang, of like-minded people, coming from everywhere. But the thing that is the same is that we have an interest in the same thing. We have an interest in the same thing. And that lifts us and gives us, emboldens us, gives us energy. The fact that we're all here together and we're sharing. And we're reflecting on the deepest possible questions. There's a story. I think it's an interesting story. There's a very devoted son, a believer in the divine, in God. And his father was not. He was a big businessman, into money and all of that, and just not at all interested in things of the spirit. And the son was always frustrated by this. He just wanted his dad to believe, to understand, to just explore a little bit. So he set up a situation. The situation he set up was he was a very good artist, painting, beautiful painting. And he left it out. And his father came along and he goes, "Oh, wow, son, that's beautiful. How did you do that?" Son said, "Oh, no, I didn't do that." He said, "Yeah, well, who did it?" And the son said, "Nobody did it." So what do you mean nobody did it? He said, "Well, I just woke up in the morning and there it was." And his dad said, "This is ridiculous. How can something like this just appear by itself?" And they went back and forth with this. And finally his son said, "But you don't believe in God. You just feel like these elements came together and then there was this explosion and here we have this magnificent universe." And his dad stopped and sat down. Because the logic of that, the beauty of that was, so how can you say all of this just happened? Because some elements came together one day and there was a big boom. Because when you reflect like that, it takes you to a different space. You don't know the answers, the details of how that happened. Yeah, his son is not saying that, but he's saying it couldn't have just been that this beautiful thing just came together on its own. So when you think of the Shakti, the Devi, creation, all of that, there's a need to pull some logic into it. But it's not only that, it's always more than that. So if God is pure being, and we were studying the Upanishads last year, and we did the Shiva Shakti, right? And that's one of the statements that Upanishad says, there is no conflict between the pure being of God, meditation and action, or knowledge and work. There's no conflict, because it's all the same thing. And we can perform actions that are liberating as long as they're not selfish actions. And selfish, understand the word, the way it's used. Selfish means it's really simply saying, you're just not me, ego, who has done this or who is doing this. I am operating, doing my work from the perspective of one of the aspects of the divine. And so, since I'm here, and since everything here has to do something, according to the Bhagavad Gita, I just do my bit, do my actions, performing, knowing the impetus of that is the divine within me. So, it's a different approach. But Shiva, the divine, is constantly gracing us if we just attune ourselves to it. The moment we say, I would like to understand who I truly am. So Ramana Maharshi, in many of his practices, was just keep asking the question, who am I? And as you go deeper and deeper, you find the essence of who you are. And so that's a form of grace. So the divine, the Shakti, God, whatever name you'd like to give it, it responds to our devotion, to our inquiry, to our search. It doesn't just leave us, it has a response. And the response can be bigger and stronger the more we give ourselves to the journey. So when we start to look at it like that, there is a constant showering of grace, because another way of thinking about anugraha is that it is a blessing. It is a blessing, and it has many levels of blessing. Okay, so it isn't just an awakening, a powerful, magnanimous, spectacular awakening. It is a blessing that draws you and draws the divine to us. That's all we have to do. We have to keep seeking blessings, in a way. Seeking blessings. Often when people ask Gurudev, I'm doing this, I want your blessings, and he'll just say, yes, and he might add, I pray that things go well. So prayer is a form of blessing. Okay? He doesn't say, I'll make that happen. It's not that egotistical approach. It's simply divine will make that happen, and I will do my bit in it. How do we relate that truth to us, me, our sadhana, and our lives? How do we bring that surge, that wave of beauty? Because one of the things they will talk about in the Saundarya Lahari is that there is a connection between truth and beauty. There's a connection between truth. Because when you see something, that beautiful painting, that statue, whatever, that's genuinely beautiful, it takes you to a different space, doesn't it? It's not just, oh, I understand that. It is, wow, it is a deep experience of something. So that's something that we need to realize, that when we reflect, when we bring our whole heart to this, not just this path, but to this exploration, then something comes back. And that's one of the insistent and important points of something like Sundari Lahari, the whole understanding of Shiva Shakti, and the form, bringing the form into it. And that is that when we worship a divine form, not just any form, although any form can do some element of it, as we know from the practice of dharmas, but when we bring the form, like the divine feminine, right? Sri Chakra, Sri Vidya, all of those things, we're bringing the form of the divine itself. And we are focusing on that, having devotion and love, and what happens? It comes back 1,000-fold. That's what we're told. So it's not just a small thing that we're doing. It's an amazing thing that we're doing. And that's why we do get into some of the details of it, because we have to understand what is it that we're worshiping that is that powerful, that sublime, that magnanimous everything. And the more we tune into that, the more that just responds. And we find ourselves going into very powerful states. So this is what this whole journey is about. And then when I thought of it like that, I thought, okay, that's, yeah, that makes sense. That's kind of something that's very powerful. And the way each of us enters into that is to say, what draws me? You know, what is that draws me? The next one, I'm not going to go into that now, Shloka 25, it says, if you want to worship Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Isha, different names for them, this is the best way. Why? Because if you worship the Devi, they're just standing there with the Devi. They're just standing, waiting for her, any beckoning and whoosh. And so if you worship her, there they are. It's a very efficient way of worshiping these divine beings. And so when you just if you just reflect on that, it's like you have friends. You have a good friend, and you go to meet your friend, and they've got friends. You know, and they just go, oh, this is, you know, this is Dana. Yeah, this is Dave. This is, you know, this is Mangala. And so you don't have to go searching for those individuals. Why? Because they're with your good friend. And so partially this saying that, it's very efficient. Because everything divine is drawn to the Devi. So if we worship the Devi, they're all there. That's her posse. You know, everyone, because everyone is just searching, and this metaphor that they're constantly using is just a little of the dust from your feet that will do everything for me. It doesn't have to be just sprinkled, just like in this example that I'm using, creation, just like a little, I can't do the eyebrows, some people can. Some people, they just do the eyebrows, and it's done. That's the power of the divine. And then things just happen as they will. So it's that ongoing question of, if I do this, if I worship in this way, if I practice, if I meditate, if I chant, how do I apply that to my life? Can you see that's the wrong question? So the way that Gurudev responds to that, he says, do these things. Bring up more of the divine, of the goodness within you. That's your first task. That's all you have to do. So don't think, have I reached the end goal? Now to just do what's going to uplift you, what's going to make you better. And then, as you interact in the world, what else can happen but that's how you interact? Because that's who you are, more and more and more. It isn't a separate thing. And this is, I think, one of the things, if we reflect on the all-pervasiveness of the divine, of Shakti, of the Devi, there's never a question of, what do I do there? How do I find it there? It's all there. And I would say this about studying or reflecting on something like Sundari Lahari, is it gets into all of those details. It gets into all of those details. I didn't mention that one of the things that detailed ways that it happens is, how's it best to do? Each one of the slokas, and you'll find this if you look at the Sanskrit channel, it's very good, it has a slightly different approach, but it says that there is a sadhana of each. So, for example, the 24th one, if you want to take it to that level of getting the siddhi, the actual power of it, you have to repeat it for 30 days. Just this shloka. Hang on. 30 days, 1,000 times a day, facing east. So it's quite specific, you see. We can talk about the feeling, but it can get very specific. But then is when you get that power of protection, immunity from negative energies. And you think, oh, that would be useful. You know, in the world that we live, I could use a little bit of that, you know. And I think, I feel like if we understand, that's just one shloka, if we understand the power of that shloka, whether we can manage 1,000 times for 30 days, just imagine doing it a couple of times, 2 or 3 times. You have to tune into would be a better way of saying it. You have to tune into what that shloka is about. I just kind of read it to you, some of the aspects, and it's broken down. And on the Sanskrit channel, they actually break it down like this. So it's pretty easy to go, and you go, wow. And you get the feeling of it. And you start to move with that awareness, I believe. You know? And so you're really starting to get into, if I think like this, if I understand, if I feel like this, then that's what it's doing to my world. It's protecting me from those kinds of energies. And you know, you can feel it. You know, you start to, you know, I do it a few times a day. You know, and you go, yeah. Because my mind, my heart is going there, not into fake news. For example. You get what I'm saying? The power of that which is ancient, which comes from the dawn of creation, to tune into that, wouldn't that have some powerful impact, whether you did it 1,000 times or not? So this is the way you tune into your sadhana without having to bite off the whole thing at once. You know, the old saying, I don't know where it came from, but the man asks the sage, how do you eat an elephant? And the sage says, 1 bite at a time. So if you thought of, how do I do all of that at once, forget it. And so we can look at Sundari Lahari the same way. Do I have to take it all? Do I have to know it? Do I have to do the whole thing every day? This is where we have the capacity to make things, let me put a nice way of saying it, so big that the fruit is so far in the future. We make it so big that it's years before we, or decades, or lifetimes before we can get any benefit. And the wisdom of the sages says, do it. Do it. Bring that feeling, bring that devotion, do that. And if you do that, as the Bhagavad Gita always tells us, even a little bit takes you a great distance. Even a little bit. So don't tell us, you know, we put ourselves into a limited situation. We know, the neurologists will tell you, I'm just thinking of Thinking Fast and Slow. It's a really good book. And it's about neurologists and the neurology of, if you will, some aspects of spirituality. But one of the things it says there is that the brain is wired such that it will always give greater importance to what is bad or negative. That's how we're wired, okay? And you would say, well, that was a bad, who did that? But if you think of it from a more logical point of view, there are 3 layers to the brain. And the first one that was created and came into flow, the reptilian brain, the brain stem, what was its function? Its function was to keep us alive by sourcing, noticing threats. So it's constantly scanning for threats, anything that could hurt us. Now that was brilliant in the time of prehistoric man and woman. We don't live in a situation like that, but what we do is we use that same tendency to apply to other things. We always look for the negative. What's wrong with that? Why doesn't that work? What's wrong with her? Why is it this? And so we find ourselves constantly going into the negative. And so this is the conscious part of our sadhana, that we have to manage our minds so that we don't go there. Something like Sundari Lahari, any of those scriptures do that. When we study scriptures, it's not just to memorize to get all those details. It's to change the way we think with the help. So Swadhyaya is not just chanting. The deeper understanding is the study of the self, our true self. This came to me a long time ago. I've read it to you before, but I feel it came out of this kind of reflection. I don't know, I can't take any real conscious credit. It came through meditation, and it says this. The title is Be the Light, because the light is what we're looking for, but we're looking for light and awareness. So Prakasha is light. Vimarsha is awareness. Okay? So these lights have light, but no awareness. What we have as human beings is light and also awareness, consciousness of ourselves. So this poem goes like this. Be well and have a good life. Well, my friend, with all of God's good graces, may you find the peace and love you seek and so richly deserve. Let the beauty within your being shine forth on the outside so that all may see you as you truly are. Understand that whatever doubts you may have are the product of a confused mind, which is something you can overcome. Focus on the strength of your heart and soul, and find your passion in this world, whatever that may be. Live true to yourself in a way that allows you to be true to others as well. And, above all, know that God is real and with you at all times in your heart, and only has love for you. Whatever missteps you make or think you do, you have His forgiveness always and forever. And we would say here, her forgiveness. Remember this, always. You are a light to all. Be that light. What's happening? Through our devotion, we're calling on truth in the form of the divine feminine to free, bless, and merge us with that divine. Sagurnath Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jaya Nanda Guru નંદ ગુરુ. અજ વિનાશી પૂર્ણ નિત્યાનંદ પ્રકાશી પૂર્ણ મુક્તાનંદ પ્રકાશી આરતી લેજો. નવરધરણી આરતી થાલા ચંદ્ર સૂરજ તો દીપ ઉજાલા. નવરધરણી આરતી તાલા ચંદ્ર સૂરજ દો દીપ ઉજાલા. અગર ચંદન સવ ધૂપ વિરાજે અગર ચંદન સવ ધૂપ વિરાજે. ઝૂલા મેરો ચવર તરુ રાશિ આરતી લેજો આરતી લેજો. અજ વિનાશી પૂર્ણ નિત્યાનંદ પ્રકાશી પૂર્ણ મુક્તાનંદ પ્રકાશી આરતી લેજો. ફૂલ વનસ્પતિ હૈ સારે સાતો સાગર जल की झारे. फूल वनस्पति है ये सारे सातो सागर जल की झारे. गगन अनाथ बाजे बाजे गगन अनाथ बाजे बाजे. गाजेरा गडरे यम पाशी आरती लेજો आरती लेજો. अज विनाशी पूर्ण नित्यानंद प्रकाश पूर्ण मुक्तानंद प्रकाशी आरती लेજો. चार प्रकार के अन्न गोपाला सोहि तेरो भोग रसाला. चार प्रकार के अन्न गोपाला सोहि तेरो भोग रसाला. लोक चतुर दिश मंदिर तेरो लोक चतुर दिश मंदिर तेरो. घट घट आसन सोय मां विकासी आरती लेજો आरती लेજો. अज विनाशी पूर्ण नित्यानंद प्रकाशी पूर्ण मुक्तानंद प्रकाशी आरती लेजो। महावाक्य वेदन के जो है सो तेरो चरणामृत सो है। महावाक्य वेदन के जो है सो तेरो चरणामृत सो है। सद्गुरु पुजारी देव चरणामृत। सद्गुरु पुजारी देव चरणामृत। पिए नारे नरवंद विना आरती ले। आरती ले जो अज विनाशी पूर्ण नित्यानंद प्रकाशी। पूर्ण मुक्तानंद प्रकाश। आरती ले ज्योत से ज्योत जगा। सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगा। मेरा अंतर मेरा सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगा। हे योगेश्वर हे ज्ञानेश्वर हे योगेश्वर हे ज्ञानेश्वर हे सर्वेश्वर हे परमेश्वर हे सर्वेश्वर हे परमेश्वर निज कृपा बरसा। सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगा। मेरा अंतर मेरा सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगा। हम बालक तेरे द्वार पे आए। हम बालक तेरे द्वार पे आए। मंगल दरस दिखा। सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगा। मेरा शीश झुकाय करे तेरी आरती। शीश झुकाय करे तेरी आरती। प्रेम सुधा मेरा अंदर मेरा मीठा। सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगा। अंतर में युग युग से सोई। अंतर में युग युग से सोई। चित शक्ति को जगाओ। सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ। मेरा अंतर मेरा मीठा। सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ। सांची ज्योत जगे हृदय में। सांची ज्योत जगे हृदय में। सोहम नाद जगा। सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगा। मेरा अंतर में सद्गुरु ज्योत से जगा। जीवन मुक्ता नंद विनाशी। जीवन मुक्ता विनाशी चरणन शरण सदगुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ मेरा अंतरति में जगाओ ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ सदगुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ मेरा अंतरति मेरा मिटा सदगुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धु सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव दूर करो दुख दर्द सब दया करो भगवान मन मंदिर में हो जल हो तेरा निर्मल ज्ञान जिस घर में हो आरती चरण कमल चितला ताहाँ हरि मासा करे ज्योत अनंत जगा जहाँ भक्त कीर्तन करे बहे प्रेम दरिया तहाँ हरि श्रवण करे सत्यलोक से सब कुछ दिया आपने भेंट करूं क्या ना नमस्कार की भेंट धरूं जोड़ूं मैं दोनों नमस्कार की भेंट धरूं जोड़ूं मैं दोनों ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति शांति सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। समिद्युवसे वृषन्नग्ने विश्वा निर्यात् हृदस्पदे समिद्यसे तनोपशून्यं संगच्छध्वं संवदध्वं देवा भागं यथा पूर्वे संजानाना उपासते समानो मंत्र समिति समानि समानं मना सचित्तमेषां समानं मन्त्रमविमन्त्र एव समानेन वो अविजाजोमि समानि वाकोदि समाना हृदयानि वा समानमस्तु भूमनो यथा वाचो सहसति हरि ओम् ॐ यो शान्तिरन्तरिक्षगो शान्ति पृथिवी शान्तिरापः शान्तिरोगदयः शान्ति वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवाः शान्तिर्ब्रह्म शान्ति सर्वगुण शान्ति सामा शान्ति सामा शान्तिरेधि जतो यतः समी अभयं गुरु शरणा गुरुप्रजाभ्यो भयाना पशुभ्यः ॐ शान्ति 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 सुशान्तिर्भवतु सर्वारिष्ट सर्वोपद्र शान्तिरस्तु शिवः शक्त्या युक्तो यदि भवति शक्ता प्रभवितुं न चेदेवं देवो न खलु स्पन्दितुमपि हतास्त्वामाराध्यां हरिहरविरिञ्चा दिविरपि प्रणन्तुं स्तोतुं वा कथमकृतपुण्या प्रभवति तव च का किल नास्तुतिरम्बिके सकलशब्दमये किल ते तनु निखिलमूर्ते सुमे भवदन्वयो मनसि जासु वै प्रसरासु च इति विचिन्त्य शिवे समिता शिवे जगति जातमया नवसादिदम् स्तुति जपार्चना चिन्तन वर्जित न खलु काचन कालकलास्ति मे न खलु काचन कालकलास्ति मे न खलु काचन सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय।
Thank you for being with us today, all over the world, and here at Shanti Mandir, Walden, about to celebrate the 25th anniversary. It's going to be big, it's going to be great, it's going to be a lot of fun, and we hope that everybody comes to join us. So I have only 5 announcements, but before that, I would like to say something. Larry mentioned to repeat the mantra 1,000 times. And everybody must have thought, oh, it's a lot, 1,000 times, but it's not. Because if you go it slowly and you take 5 seconds, which is repetition of Om, Shri, Matre, Namaha, 5, so it's only 5,000 seconds, which divided by 60, pay attention, divided by 60 is only 83 minutes. 83 minutes is 1 hour and 23 minutes. It's the shortest movie that you can watch, or here in the dining room, the shortest conversation that takes place on Sunday mornings. And you think, no wonder we cannot chant after talking so much. So 1 hour and a half also, like Larry mentioned, for my classes with the Sanskrit channel, they're usually 1 hour and a half of repetition. It's not a lot. And if you wish, if you watch your thoughts during the day, you will see the repetitive, useless thoughts. It's more than 1 hour and a half. So you can try it, you know, you can have a japamala. And then you have a ring here to chant the rounds. It's 108, 108, 108. It's very easy, and I'm sure, I don't know for certain, but I'm sure there's an app for that, because there must be. So the announcements. So I want to invite you, August. So it's gonna be a calendar, and you see like here is Sunday and here is Saturday in all calendars. So August 22nd, Friday, is Gurudev arrival to Shanti Mandir in Walden. So you already know, okay, Friday, August 22nd, very special day, let's be here early. Then 22nd and to the 24th is just 2 days. Welcome Satsang. It's a Sunday. Sunday of the Welcome Satsang for Gurudev. You have to make sure that you're going to be here and make your plans already. The next one is Labor Day. It's Monday, of course. Monday, September 1st. So Labor Day will be kirtan and picnic. What else can we hope for to celebrate Labor Day? Next, September 13th, Saturday, of course, is the intensive Shiva Shakti. So on the same subject of Shiva Shakti, Saturday, 13th of September, intensive from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then, no, it's not the last one, but the last one for today would be September 15 to 19. It's called Thoughts on Shiva Shakti. It's a retreat that is 1 week, and then we come and study. There's the teachers here present, extraordinary. Many people have been recommending the retreat, so now we have a lot of participants, and everybody is very excited at understanding what Shiva Shakti is. And of course, after that, Navaratra, but I won't go into details because the brain cannot hold so much. So I invite you now to come for darshan, and then to enjoy lunch with us. And we see you, if not sooner, next Sunday. Saguruna Maharaj Ki Jai.